Hi, welcome aboard to the Captain's Quarters podcast, episode 86, I believe it is. Am I right there, Navigator Longwood?
It's 86 or 87.
86 it is. Yep, 86. Now you notice we're a little bit more relaxed tonight. And tonight's going to be a very relaxed show and extremely short. Our guest was to be Joe Hughes. He's a comedian. He was out in California and he moved down. He's down around the Flagler area now, and I've done a little work with him and we've had conversations. He's a great comedian. But he was feeling under the weather and did not have a voice tonight. And it's been a real rough day here in the Mayhem household. I know that Mr. Longwood had some things to deal with himself. And, well, everybody knows that Hellfire Henley is always tired. And our own Mandy is off across the other side of the world right now. Where is she at, Longwood?
I know she's 9 hours ahead of us.
Yes. So, with all of that happening, we made a decision just about 2 or 3 hours ago to just do a short show tonight. And then we can all get a little bit of rest. We'd still like to hear from anybody that's watching the show. In the comment section, we'll be making sure we talk to all those people. And making sure that we see you there, and we're not ignoring you by not doing a show. As an entertainer, I always believe the show must go on. Even if it's not exactly the show we thought we would do in the long run, we're still doing something every Monday night. On that note, how is it that you can find us, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we're on YouTube. And it's always important for you to go to YouTube, use that QR code, hit the like button, the bell, the subscribe, and the more subscribers we have, the more outreach we have, the more money that'll come into us one of these days when we're all YouTube famous, I guess. But we do want you to subscribe and like to us and keep an eye on everything we have. We're going to talk about a few of the things that are coming up in the future through the summer and then beyond. So, like us, subscribe to us. That's Captain's Quarters Podcast at YouTube. We thank you very much for being our fans and watching with us. As always, we like to open the show, a little bit of an honor. The honor is called 8 Bells. 8 Bells is sponsored by our friends, the Riker family of reenactors. They are part of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, or supporters also very much so. So our 8 Bells, we have 4 people on our 8 Bells tonight. One of them I do know who it is, but let's see who we have there. Pat Robertson, American media mogul and religious broadcaster, political commentator, presidential candidate, and Southern Baptist minister. Now, if you don't know who he is, well, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under. He served as the head of the Regent University and of the Christian Broadcasting Network. He was 93 years old, ladies and gentlemen, very outspoken about the way he believed things should be. Noreen Nash, an American film and television actress. In 1945, she appeared in The Southerner, after which she had mostly leading roles in B-movies of the late 40s and 50s, such as The Red Stallion, The Checkered Coat, and Phantom from Space. After retiring from acting in 1962, she attended university and became a writer, publishing several books. She was 99 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, 2 of them, 93 and 99. That is wonderful. Who else do we have, Mr. Longwood? Of course, here it is, Hossein Khosrow al-Vazira, also better known as the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
He was an Iranian-American professional wrestler, amateur wrestler, and actor. He was the first and thus far only Iranian champion in WWE history, having won the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in 1983. He was 81 years old. And Paul Eckstein was an American actor and television writer and producer known for his work on Godfather of Harlem, Narcos, Law & Order, Criminal Intent. He was 59 years old. There we have 8 bells. Give us 8 bells, Mr. Longwood. Now I have one more that I just want to talk to everybody about. He's a good friend. His name is Charles Holden. Chaz. Now, it's premature to say in memory of, but 3 weeks ago he was given a very bad outlook by the doctors, and he actually did not expect to be this far. And he kept track of everything on Facebook, keeping his friends in the loop, making messages and doling out wisdom, and I'm flabbergasted to come with the right words. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, he has shown in the very face of adversity how to live, to share with his friends, his family, his last times. A message I got earlier this afternoon said that he was not doing very well at all. They have given him as much of his medicines as possible. And, well, you know, when this first started 3 weeks ago, he was told by the doctors a couple of days. It's gone for 3 weeks. His time may be entering Fiddler's Green anytime in the next day or two. I had a phone conversation with him. I've kept up with his wife, Mandy. I have to say that the way he chose to face this tribulation of life, to me, makes him a huge hero. It makes him somebody that only many of us should aspire to, that in the face of our adversity, our end of life, when it's time for us to go, well, we should all go with this much dignity. It makes me hope that I can do the same thing when my time comes. So to my good friend, he used to be a member of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. Then he moved to Ohio, opened up a clothing store, vintage clothing, with him and his wife, Mandy. And I say, with all great respect, I can't wait until we have a rum together at Fiddler's Green. You be waiting for me. I'll see you. To Chaz Holden, Charles Chaz Holden, honor and love to you, my friend. Mandy said you might be able to watch. If you're not, that's fine. But we love you. Thank you very much. Cheers. Another 8 bells, Mr. Longwood. Very good. Thank you, sir. So let's go on. We're going to do away with a few things, like joke of the week. We don't need it this week.
Oh. That's going to bum out mini Mayhem.
No, we're going to save him for next week. But we are going to have a quote of the week, ladies and gentlemen, because it's sponsored by our friends at Spyglass Travel. And Spyglass Travel is a great place for you to have a walking tour of the great city of St. Augustine. Great thoughts speak only to the thoughtful mind, but great actions speak to all mankind. That is a wonderful quote by Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt. That's a great quote. Great thoughts speak only to the thoughtful mind, but great actions speak to all mankind. I like that quote. Very well done, Mr. Longwood. Very well done. Crew adventures and crew adventures on the horizon. Over the weekend, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers had a crew yard sale in which any of the crew members that wanted to get rid of their junk could get rid of their junk, and they could keep their money, but a portion would be given back to the crew, or they could just donate their junk and it would all be sold. The crew did very well. The money goes into the bank account, and this week we will be helping 3 charities. And those charities, I'm not going to announce them tonight. We will report on them next week, but all 3 charities are to people within our community here in St. Augustine and in Florida, and within the pirate community. So we'll be making donations to 2 individuals separately and then 1 couple separately, and we'll make a report on that next Monday night as soon as we round out the money and put it out there in the charity world. So all those that came to our yard sale, if you know my property, we have plenty of property to do it on. We got rid of a lot of stuff. Some of the things that we did not get rid of are now being packed in boxes and are now being donated to the American Veterans Association. They'll come and pick it up. So, in other words, we're still giving to charity. We might do it again down the road. We'll see what happens. But it did make for a long day on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, because most of us, all the crew came over and helped set up, starting at about 6:30 in the morning. And we shut it down at 3. But we sat around in the driveway in our chairs, drinking some ale and having sandwiches and just having a social time till about 4 or 5. So it was a very long day, but it was a successful day, and I'm very happy with the results, as is the crew. So we thank the crew for doing such a great job. We thank everybody that came out. We had a few people from a few of the other crews that came out to buy some of the pirate garb we had. The pirate garb and the pirate paraphernalia that we had will not be donated to American Vets. It will be put in a box and saved for when we do another sale, helping out other pirates that need whatever it is they need to work on their outfits. So we'll be keeping all of that. For now, though, it was a good weekend. As far as in the future, we don't have a whole lot going on. You can see that this one here, this whole Crew Adventures needs to actually be updated. There's a whole lot of things on there that we've decided not to do. So I'm not even going to read it. We do have the Staples Kids Fest on July 29th. It's a Saturday from 10 to 2. We'll be making an appearance out there. The Staples Kids Fest is to help raise money and props and products and supplies for the kids for the summer through the summer to help kick off the school year. That'll be out at the St. John's Fairgrounds. If anybody wants to come out and say hello to the Pirates, we'll probably have some things on our table to sell. We've been told we can do that, and a portion of the money that we raise from selling our products and our pirate stuff out there, we will be giving over to the charity that's running the entire event. So be watching us for that, and then we'll see what else is going on. There is some plans for some special private adult-only tours of the Pirate and Treasure Museum on Saturday evenings. I'm still negotiating with the sponsor of that. We're hoping that City Gates Distilleries is my sponsor for that, and we'll start doing those in July and August. We thank everybody for supporting everything we do. For now, though, we don't have a guest either. Our guest, as I said earlier, he wasn't feeling well and had no voice. Kind of hard to do a show if you can't talk. So that's why we're doing such a short show. On that note, this is a good time to do This Week in Nautical History. Sponsored by the Pirate and Treasure Museum, one of our grand sponsors that takes care of everything we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, with the help of Davey Longwood, our navigator, This Week in Nautical History. good, very good. Always great nautical history for us to learn and realize that the world, as big as it is really quite small. Thank you, Mr. Longwood. Great job. Thinking of things to say. As you can tell, very relaxed, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen a few of the messages already, and I see Christina Kaplan is on, Athena Rivers is on, Zachary Harker is on, Nightingale in Florida is on, Black Sails Adventure Company. All right, we need to set a date for you guys to be a part of the show. So let us figure that out. In fact, Mr. Longwood, would you please put up the guests on deck? We'll go ahead and talk about that real quick. Here's the updated version, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, Stephen Sears. We're going to talk about him in just a minute. He lives in Hollywood, but he's from St. Augustine. Many of you will not actually know exactly who he is, but when we talk about him, you'll know what he's done. Also, the 26th, we're going to have a night of mermaids. We have at least one mermaid streaming in and 2 or 3 mermaids here in the quarter, right here inside my big man cave. We're going to have to switch all the cameras around. July 3rd, we'll do a history of the 4th of July. St. Johns County Deputy Chief Stephanie Whaley on July 10th. Sheriff Hardwick has agreed to come back on August 7th. But look, I have the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st of July open right now. So Black Sails, if you're paying attention, pick one of those days if you think it's possible, and we'll put you in. Go ahead and drop that, Mr. Longwood, and put up the thing for Mr. Stephen Sears. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stephen L. Sears. He's from St. Augustine, but look at all the things he's written and worked on. Look at that. The A-Team, Swamp Thing, Superboy, Sheena. One of my other favorites is Xena Princess Warrior. Look at all these things. Walker Texas Ranger, Hardcastle and McCormick. If you haven't seen at least 1 or 2 of these shows, then you've been hiding under a rock. But he'll be streaming in live to us next Monday, and you'll have a chance to ask questions and talk to him. He's got some great stories. He's on my Facebook page, and I look forward to having him here for us to have a good conversation with. I did talk with the sheriff briefly today, and August 7th, when he's coming back, is right then when school season starts up here in St. Johns County. So one of the things that we are going to do is talk about school safety and traffic safety around the school zones. Very, very important for us to do. So you can see that we have some great guests lined up. Black Sails, we'd like to have you on. And yes, Nightingale, Stephen is a friend of yours, so hey, you'll have to ask him some questions, and we'll have to let him know that you're watching on board. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's just do This Week in History, sponsored by Dick's Wings. If you want a good lunch, that's the place to go. Dick's Wings. They're a big sponsor of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers and the Captain's Quarters podcast, and we'll be doing our Christmas show there in November, I believe the date is set, and we'll be doing a live podcast that evening. So come on down to Dick's Wings that night in November. We'll get you the date by next Monday. Go ahead, Davey. great job. Davey, it just dawned on me. We really need to figure out how we can. One, we need to put some verbiage behind it so that people that are just listening to the show can hear what's going on, because otherwise they're just hearing music for a short spell, correct?
Yeah, I'm working on something with Madcap Mandy Joe.
Good. But the other thing, too, is I guess I'm going to have to start taking notes, because there's certain things I want to speak on or make a comment on or be hilariously funny, as I often am. You always seem to put something in there about magic, and you got Harry Houdini in there, so that was good. But there were a couple other things. It'd be fun to make some comments and maybe have them be part of a conversation. So we need to sit down and work on that idea too. Ladies and gentlemen, we are always trying to make ideas for improvements, and if you have one, we'll gladly listen. Doesn't mean we'll use it, but we will gladly listen. And you never know, if we have an idea that really works out for us, maybe we'll give you some credit for it. We'll give you an extra poker chip or something. All right, let's see. Let's do a check of the messages. I've gone all the way back to the beginning, and the first thing I'm going to say is, happy birthday, Athena Rivers. Belated birthday, I am sorry, but happy birthday to you nonetheless. I see that Zachary Harker is here, and Black Sails. Hopefully they're going to answer here. I'll see something here. I see a Facebook user that just said hello, and then a Facebook user that said Janice is watching. Mr. Henley.
Aye.
Which Janice would that happen to be?
Let me take a look at that and see if I can figure out which one it is.
And the very next comment was from Washington, D.C. Or we got Janice and then another user, a Facebook user, watching from Washington, D.C.
Let's see.
Oh, shame on Captain.
What's that, Mr. Longwood?
The Captain shattered his glass.
Have to have a little something to drink.
I don't know if I can figure out how to bring up the chat on this thing.
Well, while you're figuring it out, Mr. Jim, this week, he says this week is the lead-in week for Operation Pastorius. Pastorius was the name credited as the first German immigrants to what is now the United States. Oh, very good. Zachary Harper got to meet the Iron Sheik in Michigan pre-COVID. Very good, very good. Thank you very much for your good job, Mr. Jim, on our sale. We appreciate that. Christina Kaplan is here. I saw that. I see another Facebook user. It says good afternoon, so they must be in a different time zone. Hi, Will the Historian is here. He was on our show last week, and we got to have some time, father and son time, and I'm gracious for that for sure. Let's see. Nightingale in Florida is friends with Stephen since childhood, so she thinks it's going to be a great show. Jim, were you friends with Steve also in your younger days? He has already said that it will be a great show, and it'll be a great chance for them to catch up. Let's see who else is on here. Looking at all of the things that we have. Athena Rivers went to the bar for the first time and had a blast. All right, Athena. As long as you're not doing too much. Aye? Let's see. Who else? We should get Mayhem a gong for the show. Then he could do a segment on... Put that up there. I can't see it. Oh, I say it. Yes, that was in reference to the Gong Show on the history that Mr. Longwood put out. Absolutely right. I need a gong. I'll have to see if I can find one. That way we can go ahead and make noises when people are doing things silly. So Athena Rivers says she finally got her drinking permit. All right. And she also bragged about the tour. She was last Sunday on one of my tours. He is a great tour guide. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but thank you very much for the good words. I appreciate it, and glad you had a good time. That's the best part. 6 shots and 4 mixed drinks. I think I didn't go overboard. Well, if you went overboard, we'd all know it. Grace is watching. I saw that. Grace is watching. From Washington, D.C., the FBI is watching. Oh, my gosh. Everybody be careful how we speak. Uh-oh, the government is checking in. Darn, we better be careful. What is it?
We got it figured out. We've got Al Lane watching from Washington, D.C.
Aye?
As well as Janice Collins and Helena Denise.
All right. Helena? Hello, Helena?
Helena,
I just had a conversation with her right up to the show time. Great to see you. Al Lane? That is somebody from this area. He must be up visiting in Washington, D.C. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is a short show. And at this point now, guys, keep an eye on anything that pops up as far as comments, and we'll answer them. As I said at the beginning of the show, it was a hectic day here. Miss Cece had to go through tests all day during the first part of the day. I had to rush in, and Captain, happy to be with you and crew this evening. There's Betsy Spears. Very good. Good to see you, Betsy. And I had to rush over to the museum and do a tour, but the group that booked the tour had miscalculated their numbers, and there was no need for me to be there. So after making sure everything was done proper with the other tour guides, I went ahead and came on home to get ready for tonight. That's when we found out that our guest for this evening was not feeling up to it, streaming in with no voice. I know that Davey had some personal issues that he had to deal with today, and Mandy is off touring the world. Mandy Joe and Hellfire, he's always tired anyway. So we just thought we'd do a lightweight show tonight, do some of our segments that are important, like 8 Bells. I wanted to say some words about my friend Charles Chaz Holden. And this week in nautical history and this week in history, Davey puts a lot of effort and time into those, so we might as well use them. And they wouldn't be any good next week because that would have been last week in history, so we had to use them. And we're working on ways to do shows that might be almost fully automated, so that on some occasions maybe we do that. We're also working on an idea that we might do a short automated show Thursday nights, but a short show that is almost entirely automated. These are just ideas that we've been kicking around amongst ourselves, the 4 crew members here, trying to figure out other things to do. We have found out that it's not just the subscribers that help us gain notoriety with YouTube, but we have to have a certain level of viewership on all of our stuff on a weekly basis. And so it's a combination of everything we can do. We are preparing for Spooktacular in October. We have plenty of time through the summer to start working on it. So we'll be working on Spooktacular for the summer and for Old City Pirate Fest in 2024. So be watching for those. We'd like to have everybody included in those events that we do. Hey, Davey?
Yep.
It's still proper to show our thanks and appreciation, so why don't you pop that up there for us?
Okay.
Thank you very much. And a thank you to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't do it without your help, and any support that you give us is always wonderful. We are going to be adding a few more sponsors to our list. We have some interested parties who want to sponsor. We do 1-year sponsorships, ladies and gentlemen. 1-year sponsorship guarantees you mention on our show, and we're working on other ways to make sure that people know that you are our sponsors in our video thank you at the end of every show. And of course, sometimes we do the little thing at the bottom of the screen, the little ticker tape that shows some information like our website or our email or the guest who's on their website or their email. Anything we can do to enhance what other people have done to help us. We appreciate that help, and we want to make sure that we can bring everybody in. On that note, how about our numbers or our platforms? There's our platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, you can catch us on YouTube. There is a QR code for everything there but Spotify. YouTube, Instagram. That's how you can watch us, and Spotify. If you're interested in just listening to us while you're driving along any of our shows, Stitcher, iHeart, Castbox, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Those are the ways you can listen to us and listen to our shows. Maybe we'll be working on some shows that are just nothing but listening. That would be kind of cool too. So we'll see what we can do. The Countaineers sent you an email. We are ready to help. We will go and look at that email. We would love to see. We're also looking to have pirate crews that have the ability to come to St. Augustine in 2024 in February to be a part of what we're doing. We're all here to land a hand or even a hook. Aye, very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a part of a pirate crew, I know that we're working on the crew of the Charles Revenge. They would like to come down. I'm hoping maybe the Loose Cannons from a little further up will come down. And that gives us 2 crews, plus I've got several of my crew, and we could have a good grand period correct encampment for everything we do. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a part of Old City Pirate Fest 2024, which would actually be, had we not missed anything, it would actually be our 8th year. But in actuality, it'll be our 6th year. How about our numbers, Mr. Davey? Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost at 1,100 subscribers. 2.7K in views. That's a lot. Aye. Watch time hours, 272. The watch time hours is one of the things that we have to bump up. That has to be at 400 and main at 400 or above, if I remember what Mandy told me. Mandy Jo is our cartographer. She navigates all the online stuff for us to keep us up on what's going on. So, 400, we're almost there, ladies and gentlemen, our watch time hours. So, and it does also matter this. This is information for you. If you want to watch one of our shows, our past shows, or any of our shorts, you must watch it for at least 3 minutes or more for it to be recorded. You can't just click onto it and then click away and go somewhere else. You have to be on there for at least 3 to 4 minutes before it is recorded for time. So please, if you have nothing better to do one day, go to Captain's Quarters Podcast and watch some of the things that we do. We're actually working on some movies too now. We've got some ideas for some movies, and that might surprise you to see us mild-mannered actors doing some pirate movies. We look forward to that. And we'll be doing some little short commercials on things for our future events. We're working on that also. So ladies and gentlemen, it is, as I told the crew when we first started, we'd probably hit about 40 minutes, and we're just a minute shy of that. But I can't think of anything else. I've been watching all of the comments coming in. Christina Kaplan believes that the numbers are good. Great numbers. Thank you very much. Movies are a great idea, and we're working on some ideas for that too. We may have to show off a couple of the past ones we've done, but we'll see. Maybe just making new ones would be a better idea. But we can't do it without you, ladies and gentlemen. We do appreciate it. We're sorry that the show is not as long as it normally is, not as energetic, but it is Well, after all, as far as I'm concerned, April and May are the two biggest months I've had in the last 5. Just a lot of school groups, a lot of work, a lot of time, throwing in weekends where we're doing pirate stuff. This is a down week for me totally. For my wife, I know Davey needs a little bit of rest here and there. Mandy's the only one. She's young. She can enjoy traveling around the world for a bit. But we'll be bringing everybody back together again for some energy and some fun next Monday, where our guest is, go ahead and pop that back up, Mr. Longwood. Our guest is Mr. Stephen Sears. And it'll be a pleasure to have him on. Look at that. If there's anything you got questions on, start getting them and putting them in your notes. And let's have us a good old time. For now, though, as we always do, we still, right there on the 39-minute mark, going into 40. What do we say to say goodbye to our crew? Mr. Longwood?
Yeah, sorry.
There it is.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always, cheers to each and every one of you. Thank you for watching tonight. Send us some messages. There's our email. We're open to any kind of suggestions you've got. Whatever we can do to make it so that it's enjoyable for you. For now, though, everybody get some rest, because I think that's what I'm going to do. I hear my dog Max Mayhem over there on the couch doing a little bit of whining. That's his signal that I need to go sit with him and watch some TV. We love you all. Thank you very much. And remember one more thing. After talking about my good friend Chaz, you never know what tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year will bring. Try to make sure that you treat everybody in your family, blood and extended, with the love that they all deserve. To each and every one of you, we'll see you next week.